What's up, guys? DCK here, hitting you up, and I'm talking to you, IchibanPuroresu, if I pronounce that right, with a video response. Well, as a fan, it's kind of an interesting deal what I think of that. I mean, started as a WWE fan, which I'm sure plenty of people did, back in 03, for me personally, that is. And then in 2005, adding TNA, 2004 actually, 4. The other way is a very different meaning. And then around 2006 is when I found out about ROH, and that led me to the rest of the indies, which has been it's been a fun road ever since. So when I first got into it, seeing something like WWE, how I enjoy things was connection to characters, and part of it was, do I like the moves they do? I was always somewhat of a moves guy, but I mean, just seeing, even if look back now, the matches aren't going to be very good, but I mean, I was excited when they announced fucking Undertaker versus A-Train. Yeah, that's what I, what I thought, my opinion of matches and the product was, who are the characters, what characters are the other characters facing, do I like that they're facing each other, do I don't like that they're facing each other, do I like both guys, do I hate both guys, do I like one guy, hate the other, all that stuff, that kind of got it going. And then in TNA, I started to see it was a little bit more about the action. Still, there was that heel-face dynamic that I was into. I mean, come on, Jeff. How could you not hate Jeff Jarrett? He wouldn't let the freaking title go. Jesus. But then I would watch guys like in the X division and just be in awe. Although back then they even had a big X division feud with what was it, Styles and Kid Cash. I think they were doing that thing. So by then it was starting to be like, new style plus, getting into the match. And then once I started, seeing bits of ROH, and I'll be honest right now, I kind of wish I watched more indie wrestling. I don't watch as much indie wrestling as people think I do, especially in the past bit because I've been poor as balls. But that's that. But when I watch it, it is just kind of amazing the style they can pull off. And I don't know if it's a matter of the style overshadowing the wrestlers, or me just not being as familiar with them, but just the stuff they're doing really started to take precedence. So you can see from character-driven, a character-driven formula for liking the matches over here at WWE, then into TNA, and then to the Indies, with all the moves they're doing. And Dragon Gate, I would say, is what solidified it. Watching Dragon Gate, just like, wow, look at what these guys are doing. That's an interesting thing right there. Interesting you brought that promotion up, Ichi. Can I call you Ichi? I'm going to call you Ichi. Well, I've already kind of mentioned how I'm a fan of how I've grown to like the indie style. They just, indie style is just, they have that less of a schedule in some cases, there are some really, really popular guys, but some really, really popular indie guys. But then again, are they wrestling more than 4 nights a week? That's a good point. I think should be made. But just the stuff they're able and willing to do to put on a show that needs to make it stand out from what you're seeing on TV, they got to kick it up a notch, which is detrimental in the long run, absolutely. Unless you're a Bryan Danielson type wrestler who, in a lot of ways, kept it fairly safe compared to a lot of people with how much he incorporated groundwork. And also, groundwork is just appreciated you know, more on the indies in some ways. Not every guy can get over doing groundwork, and especially in the indies, because you know, indies, you know, they almost have a stigma now where it's just like high energy, high impact, high flying. Jack Evans doing 14 backflips off a cage, which has its place in wrestling, but you know, not everyone can do ground-based WWE style type stuff and be popular with an indie crowd and grow to sell DVDs and be, you know, popular and have indies want them and make money. But what was I talking about? Indie style, yes. They're just kind of, you know, doing what they got to do to be popular, and I appreciate it. And they really do bust their asses. I mean, it was like the stuff I had seen on TNA, which blew my mind, and then seeing that it was like TNA stuff on crack once I started seeing ROH's stuff and CZW stuff to an extent, and then Dragon Gate. Again, Dragon Gate was just nuts. So, indeedy. My opinions on matches, much like my opinion on wrestling, has changed with the styles that I've enjoyed. But I've started to realize, I think it's been in the past year, I've started to really see, you know, kind of everything how everything can come together and make a good match. So how I judge a match is something like, you know, I mean, as cool as the moves are, at the end of the day, you know, did the guy work over the leg? Did the guy sell the leg? You know, yeah, so, like, did they sell a body part that got worked over? You know, was there a reason for them to be doing the moves? Was a certain move or a certain spot part of the storyline? Did the match fit the storyline? You know, did the match fit the storyline? Is the match continuing the storyline? Is it ending the storyline? Did it end it well? Did it continue it well? All that, and then also just, you know, energy, crowd reaction helps. Intensity. Sometimes intensity just helps. You know, if it's intensity helps when it's like a grudge match. You know, if it's kind of a friendly competition, you know, have it be like that. If it's going to be a friendly competition that turns into intense competition, I want to be able to notice that. You want to be able to see the story as much as you can. You want to be able to, you want to be able to, don't tell but show. If you guys have ever heard that for writing an English paper or anything like that, show, don't tell. So yeah, and I mean, and at the end of the day, did I get some enjoyment out of it? Was it exciting? Was it, was the stuff like that, And then from there you can go on with the details. That's an interesting selection of 5 guys you got there. So, Ibushi, Doi, Omega, Richards, Black. Any of them grossly overrated? I would say none of them are grossly overrated in anything. I would say, in terms of character, Black is overrated. I feel like, there could be something more there, but it's just not happening. At least not until his heel turn, did you really get to show a lot more character. That time between the Age of the Fall and his heel turn was pretty dry for character, and his mic skills are going to need a lot of work. But in the ring, I would say that maybe Omega. I still like him a lot, but if I had to choose one to say overrated, would be Omega, simply because of the fact that I feel that even now, he performs to the level, about to the level of his opponent, maybe a little higher. But I feel like I think he needs to just be on top of his game all the time, no matter who he's facing. Not saying that he should try and steal the show and take attention away from main events or what have you, but you know, that kind of thing. That's my thing. Other than that, no, I think these guys do their thing. Ibushi and Omega are telling the stories well, at least in the comedy aspect in DDT. That's my opinion on that. Richards and Black doing their thing with a US indie style, which basically borrows from everything. You know, the tape trader style, as I sometimes like to call it. You know, Davey is okay with finishers because some finishers you rarely see out of him. Tyler Black, sometimes he goes overboard, but but then that's more of a booking thing. Same thing with Doi. He's really a breath of fresh air in Dragon Gate. I really enjoy what he does, and he's usually pretty decent with handling, protecting his finishers in terms of legitimacy. Just checking the window for him real quick. But yeah, and plus, you know, again, that's a booking thing, the company that you're in. But I would say none of them are grossly overrated. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by unfairly treated. I don't know if you're saying that they're overhyped or maybe they're over-criticized. I think both happen, honestly, but I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you could maybe, I don't know, comment, be a nice guy, comment, maybe clear it up for me, but yeah, please. Are these companies guilty of such actions? Absolutely. I mean, guy kicked out of a 450 splash in a dark match for DGUSA back in WrestleMania weekend. It's a little much. It does, you know, it just devalues your main events when people kick out of finishers mostly. You know, near fall is interesting because if it's a near fall due to a finisher, that hurts the finisher. Near falls in other ways, you know, can be done, you know, to where, you know, at least, you know, exciting, you know, that kind of thing. Not every match needs it. Hell, you know, some shows don't even need one set of lots of near falls. You know, but you know, you gotta, you know, sometimes you just gotta do stuff like that for your big matches, and that's what it should be, you know, saved for more, which companies like ROH, DGUSA, some PWG stuff are guilty of. Sometimes I wish it was saved so that some stuff would feel more special. You know, so when it does, you know, when it does happen, those matches feel even more special. You know, something like Austin Aries, Davey Richards is like an awesome freaking match, but it feels like, you know, it feels like it's so, you know, it's kind of like that with a lot of ROH matches. A lot of ROH matches have so much drama and near fall stuff, and you know, you kind of forget which ones are which. You know, not a ton of the big indie matches that are considered really great can necessarily be differentiated from each other, which, you know, you can do more in, you know, historically the WWE or TNA matches. Well, even TNA is guilty of some near fall spamming. Angle versus Styles at the Impact show, which was the January 4th Impact. Great freaking match. Way too much near fall finisher crap. Which that's a prime example of what, you know, indies, other companies, companies anywhere need to be careful of. But so it is totally, you know, it's totally fair to point out, you know, that it's a little too much to do that spamming, as you call it. Ichi.